but again, pointedly, did not offer a reason for her absence today.
We're still taking a look inside the Capitol Rotunda there on the left-hand side, but on the right, that is again the Capital One Arena, where Donald Trump, after he is inaugurated, will be making his way. In what would be the inaugural parade is now subbed in for an indoor event there at Capital One Arena here in Washington. People have been gathering there for hours, and they will be still waiting for some hours before the new president arrives. But these are a lot of his strong supporters, and assuredly they will still be there by the time he shows up.
And as they watched the images from the rotunda on the big screen inside the arena, some boos as Mike Pence walked in, and then a lot more boos as Bill and Hillary Clinton were shown on there.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please take your seats.
Folks in the Capital One Arena are able to watch all of the ceremonies and events from the Capitol Rotunda on the Jumbotron screen there in the middle of the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please be seated.
Shout out to Big Bro Doug in the building. How's it going, Big Bro? The inauguration, the day has come. Some people are happy, some people are sad.
Making their way to the Capitol Rotunda. Clearly,
we just here to give our little old opinions, right?
Proceedings here of the official swearing in.
Let me go grab my
Chief
coffee
Justice
real quick.
John Roberts will be the one to administer the oath to the president, as is tradition. And then Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh will administer the oath to incoming Vice President-elect J.D. Vance.
Interesting to note his wife's ties to both. You had Lucia Vance served as a clerk for Chief Justice Roberts. That is a coveted post in the legal community, and J.D. Vance was once a student in a law seminar taught at Yale by Justice Kavanaugh, and that explains the ties there, and the reason that you just saw Brett Kavanaugh walking in ahead of Clarence Thomas, who is the senior member of the court, who always asks the first questions during oral arguments before the Chief Justice does. It is always Justice Thomas. And that was a little bit striking to see Justice Kavanaugh, who came to the bench years after Justice Thomas, walking in front of him.
Grand Rising, bub. Grand Rising, bub. Not sure if you could hear me. All right. So today, this is what we're going to do today. Today's going to be a little bit of a different show. I got a bunch of stuff for us to cover. We still want to be paying attention to what's going on in the background. So I'm just going to throw certain things in there, as I feel that the time permits. And we'll just go through it with an eye on what's going on. Obviously paying attention to the inauguration, when Donald Trump gets up to speak, depending on who else decides to speak. We may take a little pause here and there. But hold on, is that Zuckerberg? Look at Zuck next to Rubio. Oh, man. Trump bringing the gang together. And we got an interesting video to show y'all on Bill Gates. So apparently Bill Gates was with, look at young boy Barron. But apparently Bill Gates, he had some interesting comments on his meeting down in Mar-a-Lago.
Joked about Barron Trump earlier, but that shot of him with the slicked back hair a little bit there is very much looks like a late 70s, early 80s Donald Trump.
Oh, boy. Oh, man, taking selfies, bro. All right, so this is what's the first thing that we're going, and we got stuff. So this is going to be very interesting. We have a bunch of stuff, both politically and outside of politics, that we're going to discuss. So it'll be a little bit of a different, unique vibe for the show, but y'all know that's what we used to. I don't know the first video that we're going to play. Let me actually bring this up. So how do y'all feel about Snoop, Nelly, and Soulja Boy? There was a funny, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. I think somebody sent me something pretty funny on Snoop and some of the things that he mentioned. Hold on, let me turn this down for a second in the background. So there were some interesting comments, or I guess some things that Snoop said a couple years ago compared to what he's pushing now. Hold on, I think Maya sent me the Snoop ones. Maya, if you could resend me that one. The one with the before and after with Snoop. Or did I send that to you? Hold on. Either way, we'll figure it out. We shall figure it out. Let me put this volume back on. I'm going to find that video for you guys, and then we'll throw that on. So while we're waiting on that video, I want to show y'all the conversation that the CNN panel had on this exact topic. So we'll take a little look at that real quick and then come back. But I'll keep an eye. And Maya just sent the other video. Let me start off with that one since Maya just sent it. All right, so let me see if I can get this up here. I wonder if you can show both screens. That would be actually cool. All right, check this out real quick. We're gonna go off the other video for a second. Check this out very quickly. So the before and after.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you niggas gonna do it first?
Oh, okay.
Osby's the one that performs for himself.
About noon, just off that
nigga here. All right, back to the other one. Just wanted to share that real quick. A little entertainment for y'all. So this is, and we can't just say it's Snoop, it's Nelly, it's Soulja Boy, even though that is a funny clip from Snoop. But that's the case with everybody. That's the case with Jeff Bezos. That's the case with Mark Zuckerberg. Let me turn this volume up.
Those former Republican
That seems to be the case with
Dan Quayle and now
Dan Quayle. Okay.
Who was
That seems to be even the case with Bill Gates, and I'm gonna show y'all that clip later of Bill Gates giving a recap on his meeting down at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump. So, how do y'all feel about it? It's just funny. It's very funny, and we got to be honest. We got to be honest. And when I say we got to be honest, there's a lot of us that thought.
The 42nd president of the United States, the Honorable William J.
Oh, let's see if they.
accompanied by the
Let's hear what they say.
Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Turn it up a little bit.
Now the former presidents start to make their entrances into the rotunda. First, former President Bill Clinton and former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
And what I was saying is, it's allowed to change you're allowed to change your opinion, but that doesn't count for Hillary. Hillary, matter of fact, you only allowed to change. I shouldn't be making those jokes about Hillary. Well, no. But according to relating to Trump, you're allowed to change how you feel about Trump. It's okay to have disliked Trump in 2017, 2016, 2020, 2021, and to be open or at least optimistic about him being president. So it's just funny when people jump out the window and get so emotional. Hold on. Oh, yeah, we got George W. All right. It's just funny to me when you have these celebrities that are so emotional. It's like Cam Newton right now jumping out the window to support Joy Taylor. Like that was Snoop jumping out the window. And he jumped out the window when, in a couple different instances, remember when Kobe was brought up, Kobe Bryant passed, and then Lisa Leslie was asking questions. Or no, Gayle King was asking Lisa Leslie some questions about Kobe Bryant's legacy and pretty much like trying to kick his back in a little bit, or trying to get her to kick his back in, like bringing up the old allegations and stuff. And then Snoop Dogg came out and called her like the B word, but then he always coming out and apologizing, like he was apologizing afterwards. And, you know, so Snoop changes his tune. He seems to go with the flow of whatever's popular in society, which I guess aligns with his brand. Oh man, Barack coming out by himself. Damn.
Former President Barack Obama clearly.
Damn, yo, that looks bad.
Recent president to precede either a Biden or
Trump
Michelle administration, because clearly now we will have the second of the Trump administrations. Before
yo, that looks bad, bro.
Former President Obama.
This is the first time I've felt some sympathy for Barack Obama in a very long time.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned Grover Cleveland yet. How is that? How is that possible? Let me just get that part out of the way. Donald Trump will be the first president.
How y'all feel about this Michelle not pulling up?
Grover Cleveland late in the 19th century.
There you go.
Sorry, that was I
Gotcha,
couldn't
Mama.
let that go. That had to be
Justice of the United
mentioned here at
States,
some
the
point.
Honorable
Yeah,
John
that
G.
looked bad.
Roberts Jr.
That
and
looked
the
bad.
Associate
I didn't think it
Justices
was
of the
gonna. I
Supreme
didn't even
Court
think it
of
was
the
a big
United
deal. I
States.
didn't know that they did this whole
The Supreme
This
Court
whole,
justices
like,
officially coming into the
pre-game
rotunda. As we noted earlier, John Roberts,
from
the Chief
North
Justice,
Carolina,
read the
6'6"
presidential
Michael
oath,
Jordan. I
who was
didn't know that they
immediately
were doing the
followed by
whole,
Associate Justice Brett
you know,
Kavanaugh,
pre-game calling
who
out
will be
people.
swearing in J.D. Vance as Vice President.
And you note at the end of that line,
man.
retired Justice David Breyer
Right.
joining his
I mean, we got to
some
talk
of his
about it,
former
right? We got to
colleagues.
address it.
Of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
Ladies.
and Amy Coney Barrett on the end, the two newest
This
justices.
this is what happens when you have black women running. Nah, let me stop. Yo, nah, I'm laughing, but I'm dead serious though. This is this looks bad. This looks bad. Michelle, you supposed to rock out with your husband, ride or die. I thought, hey, Uncle Brother, I thought behind every great man, successful man was a great woman. I guess not. I guess Michelle said nah. Oh my God, this looks bad. Who's this? Dang, free Barack, yo. I knew it was Michelle behind all of this stuff. I knew it was Michelle.
We see second gentleman Doug Emhoff, and next to him, First Lady Jill Biden.
They walking the
Make
plank. They
introductions.
finna walk the plank.
But first, Donald Trump's children.
Big Baron. Free Barack, Ernst. Free Barack. I'm just saying. I'll be honest. Michelle, let's be real. Can we have a serious moment? I'm big on symbolism, just like a lot of us, right? A lot of the things, especially if you're a blackity black on that side, or if you're a critical race theory, a lot of this is based on symbolism. Okay. So this is my question. What do you think it does to the black family? Hold on. What do you think it does to the black family, or it does to black women, or women in general that look up to Michelle Obama and they see the fact that, oh, I don't like Donald Trump being in office, so therefore I'm not going to stand by the side of my husband? See, this is the difference. And you look at a Hillary Clinton. Look at what Bill Clinton put Hillary through, standing by that man's side. So I'm not saying for better or worse, right? So all I'm saying is that I don't think Barack Obama did anything to Michelle. I don't know what they're going through personally. However, that's just a bad look. And you're supposed to rock with your husband. Like this, can we call that out? And a lot of people looking at this, to me, it's going to set the tone on all of the cultural things that I can't stand within the black community, within the black family, within the structure of it. This is Michelle Obama putting her own self above the family, above Barack Obama, and making her husband look extremely silly and weak, in my opinion. But who's going to call it out, right? And Urs wrote, Michelle made a point because she saw Barack chopping it up with Trump the other day. Well, Joe Biden there, and Biden was chopping it up with Trump. Matter of fact, Jill was chopping it up with Trump. So it's just a bad look. What's good, Queez? Queez in the building. This is a bad look when it comes to Michelle. This is a terrible look. Here you could be if Barack can't get a sister to support him and hold him down. Oh, I'm dying out here, coach. Oh man. If Barack, I mean, I'm joking, but like, damn, like, ladies, what? Maya, are you listening? Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you commenting? Why aren't you commenting?
Ladies and gentlemen, escorting Dr. Biden and Mr. Emhoff, the Republican staff director of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Ms. Emily Leviner, the Senate Secretary for the Minority, the Honorable Gary Myrick, the House of Representatives Chief Administrative Officer, the Honorable Catherine Spindor, and Mr. Bruce Fisher.
All right, Uncle Brother said, speaking of symbolism, look at Trump's family. I've got to say the Trump family is a good look, especially compared to Biden's family. I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I agree.
Dr. Jill
It looks like a strong family.
Emhoff.
It looks like a strong family. Look at Doug.
Now, First Lady Jill Biden.
Not to be confused with our Doug. Earth said it looks like a broken home. I feel bad for Barack. Yo, I genuinely feel bad for Barack. Yo, I gotta give grace, man. I gotta start giving more grace because I don't think that I've had a positive thing to say about Barack Obama probably in the last 4 to 8 years. Yeah, maybe matter of fact longer than that. And I don't know why, but that just goes to show you how relatability can change everything. You can create sympathy and empathy in a lot of people simply by relating to them, or when they see themselves in you, or you see, you get what I'm saying? I'm looking at Barack and I'm just like, and maybe that's a lesson in life. We all relate things. We're such self-centered individuals and selfish people. When we look at Barack, or I can just speak for myself, and this is maybe something I need to work on, dropping some of the ego. When I see Barack coming out by himself, I automatically use that to relate it to, like Uncle Brother said, a lot of the things that I've been saying and calling out a lot of the ladies. So I don't know. Call me out on my stuff too, because maybe I'm just a triggered, vulnerable, broken man. I don't know. Bush back there cracking, man. Joseph. Hold up. Maya said she should be there. Well, why isn't she there? She also should have been at the funeral. Okay. Let me ask you this. Why aren't the ladies on The View telling her that she should be there? Where are the matter of fact, never mind. Rhetorical questions. Yo, so let me ask y'all this. How are y'all feeling? Are you feeling optimistic? Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling indifferent? I don't know. What exactly are you feeling? Do you think Trump's gonna make your life better? Do you think he's gonna make it harder?
Several moments of participation from Amy Klobuchar, Democratic senator from Minnesota, and someone was asking me, why is she part of this inauguration? She was not a supporter of Donald Trump, but she is part of the committee that organized this entire inauguration. So it's an official role for her today, in addition to being a member.
It's just
of the
funny
US
looking
Senate.
at Bill Clinton next to Doug Emhoff.
On Friday, after all that work on getting this event together outdoors, ended.
Close your mouth, Bill.
Are inside the well familiar from her time in the Senate.
Dang, I just look at all these people.
Very interesting
powerful
mix of Republican
individuals
and Democrat lawmakers,
and I just think like
together.
what are we doing, bro? This should be us up there. Like
a Democrat from Florida standing shoulder to shoulder, and another sign of just how tight it is in the rotunda.
Junior. Oh shoot! Y'all see Elon in the back?
Father standing in front of Elon Musk and next to Barron Trump. Melania Trump's mother, of course, died while they were out of the White House, and her dad is back to watch her become First Lady for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Jill didn't rock the red. She's wearing the purple. Maybe that's a sign. I don't know if that's purple. That's a sign of joining the Democrats and the Republicans together. You saw it back in the back.
According to the schedule,
The
that
red
they
and the
have put
blue
out,
combining to make
things
that
in
purple.
Washington rarely, if ever, happen on schedule, except things like the inauguration. We should be seeing J.D. Vance take his oath as vice president in about 10 minutes from now. As Brett Kavanaugh awaits actually administering that oath.
Is that Eric Trump? She's real sharp, yo. I forget her name. Which Trump is that? What's Eric Trump's wife name again? She's sharp. Laura Trump, I think. All right, so hold on. So Uncle Brother said, all I can say is I've got plenty of popcorn. So I guess this was answering my question as far as what are your thoughts and feelings about this new presidency. Quee said, wait and see. Hard to be excited about a president. Yeah, I can understand that. Let me explain. I don't think I'm anxious. I think I actually am excited. I'm just excited to see what, like, almost like just to see like Super Bowl, like, how's this going to play out? I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. I'm excited to see, it's almost as if when you look back at like the last 4 years and the last 8 years, I don't know if it's due to social media and technology advancing, but it almost seems as if more stuff happens within a shorter time span. So I'm just excited to see what the next 4 years are going to look like. How is that going to impact the culture? How is that going to impact the border? How is that going to impact some of the Israel and Palestine, Russia, Ukraine? How will that impact our relations with China? How's that going to impact our economy, inflation, the housing market, rent? What is rent going to do? Jersey is like the highest place to rent right now. So I'm just excited about all these things, like truly excited to see exactly how they play out. And Queez brought up a great point. Will Trump have a bigger impact socially or economically? And that's the thing. And they probably will go hand in hand with each other, in my opinion. However, I'm excited. Like, if the economy was not even impacted at all, I'm still excited because I want to know from a cultural standpoint, what's it gonna, like, when you start breaking down a lot of the white woke ideology that has come to fruition, what's that gonna look like? You know, what is the Democratic Party going to look like? Are they going to have that wake-up call to where they finally realize that they have to change their victimhood strategies and tactics with fear-mongering, all these things that people did not buy into as much this election as they would in previous elections? But if I was to, well, I guess just to answer Quee's question, do I think that Trump will have a bigger impact socially or economically? I think that he's going to have a bigger impact socially. And I think that that's what impacts the economy. Now, what do I mean by that? Just Trump, his energy, getting people to align with putting America first, all of these different things, getting people to see where we were socially in a lot of ways with Biden. I think Trump is going to have the power and support that only can come from us coming from a situation that wasn't ideal. You know what I mean? It's like if a bad economy.
Please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and America's
Hold on.
tenor.
Let me
Christopher D. Macchio.
I'll finish up my thoughts when we after he's done. Oh, was he singing or I think he's singing? But I think the socially will be first, culturally, and then that's going to impact the economy.
I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to be true to thee, true to thee. I will be. Oh, America, no weeping. Let there be no wounded heart. I will keep you in my keeping till there'll be a new start.
Hakeem. Look at Uncle Joe. They like, Joe, don't fall. All right, so Maya thinks economically he just made billions in 2 days off of meme coins. That's him though. But and even think to your point, economically, Maya, why was he able to make the 2 billion or billions in 2 days? In my opinion, it's just from a social. He's such a big social, like he has such a cultural impact. That's why I think he's able to impact the economy in the ways. But I guess which comes first, the chicken or the egg? So I get it. I get it. Hopefully, put it this way. Hopefully, with both. Melania looks like she's going to a funeral. Well, she is going to a funeral. Biden's funeral and Trump's birth. So she may change. You know how at the wedding you change clothes? Yeah. All right, y'all get the gist of. We'll have the song in the background. All right, let me catch up with these. Uncompetitive. Shout out to Uncompetitive in the building. The OG network. I'm reading the OG. I think Trump will have an enormous geopolitical impact for the better. I would agree with that. I predict Barron's going to be the next President Trump. He's a bad boy. Melania is grooming him well. So you say Melania's. I saw a post. I put up a post the other day about her grooming him. I'm not sure if I shared it with y'all, but yeah, I agree with you. And it's funny, they said that Melania's grooming him. Even they were talking about how he never smiles. I think that's something that Trump's dad used to say as well. The older 3, 4, however many other Trump kids there are, nah. Donald Trump Jr. is my guy, but he's more of the muscle. Like, I don't see him as the president, but you never know. Things could change, right? Maya wrote, but any American could have bought and sold that coin and made money. No, I understand what you're saying. I just think that, like, let's say if Biden put out a coin, it wouldn't do anything. It probably would lose money because he doesn't have the social impact that a Trump has. So as far as the impact and how I see Trump, he's already such a big social icon. And I think that that's going to impact the other areas that we're naming here, whether it's dealing with other countries, whether it's our own economy, all these different areas I think are going to be impacted. Like the root is based on Trump having such a strong social and cultural presence, in my opinion. The guy. Hold on, let me get off this screen, man, for Trump, bro. Let me show Trump. Let me stop. I'm here with the guy. Yo, get the crowd going. Y'all can't front, man. This don't get y'all. My man got shot, bro. My man got shot, man. Come on now. This is America. This is all of our country, bro. This is all of our country. Whether you disappointed in it, this is our country, yo. Yo, Melania, yeah. Matter of fact, Uncle Brother, I'm gonna double down on what you said. Melania coaching him. Melania, Melania, look, she looked like she militant. Okay, so Queez adding on. Okay, so let me add on to that, Dak. Which of the two will have a longer effect, his social impact
Ladies
or
and gentlemen,
economic?
escorting the
If we
President
look
of the
10
United
years from
States
now.
and the Vice President of the United States, ranking member of the Joint Congressional
I'ma say
Committee on
socially,
Inaugural
yo.
Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fisher.
I'm gonna
House
say
Democratic
socially.
Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries,
Um,
and Senate Majority Secretary, the
Let me put it this way.
Honorable Robert
I don't know
Davis.
about 10 years from now, but socially, I really think that this time span in history is going to be so significant when we look back. So significant. When you look at going from Barack Obama, the first black president for 8 years,
Ladies and
to
gentlemen,
then
the
Donald
President of
Trump,
the United
to then
States,
back to
the
Biden, to
Honorable
Donald
Joseph
Trump,
R. Biden
and with
Jr.,
everything that's
and
being
Vice
pushed right
President
now,
of
the
the
woke
United
stuff and
States,
everything like
the
that,
Honorable Kamala
I
Davis
think
Harris.
that this was, I think that this was, oh, I thought that they were booing. I was about to say, I think that this was a point where we saw the country. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, things could have got real spooky out here. Things could have got real spooky. Look at what has happened. So, I mean, we probably had when we look at cultural shift. Look at our cultural shift, and it's probably shifted the most in the last, maybe since Barack's second term to now. Maybe in the history of our country, when you look at a cultural shift, now that's outside of, slavery and stuff like that. But when you look at a true cultural shift to the norm of how people were thinking maybe 15 years ago, to the norm of how a lot of people, a good amount of thinking, like for Joe Biden to be elected president, the things that they were pushing, come on now.
Mr. Sean Keating.
I don't know what's going on. Hold up. Everybody got quiet. Must be somebody important. Oh, they're just playing. So, hold on. Let me turn this down just a little bit slightly. It's just hard for me to say. I just, like Trump, when we look back on this 1,000 years from now.
The Vice President-elect of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance.
Although I do think that, I think the economy can be, Trump could be in office and then a Democrat be in office or even a Republican be in office next time and the economy take a hit. But when I look at from a cultural standpoint, the things that Trump is pushing, America first, the tariffs, building jobs in America, prioritizing the needs of American citizens and American businesses, I think that will go a long way or can go a long way, but it can be easily erased with somebody's actions. With somebody, it could be easily 10 years from now, we could be looking at it totally differently. But 10 years from now or 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we'll still remember the cultural impact that he made as far as shifting how we see the world, as far as how all these people went from seeing Trump as racist, the fascist, oh, he's something like Hitler, to so many people now embracing Trump. And not only did Donald Trump win again, but he also broke the Democratic Party, in my opinion. Donald Trump has broken the Democratic Party. It's one thing for the Democrats to lose, but losing to Trump, how they lost to Trump, with him coming back and with them pushing all the things that they were pushing, and with a lot of Democrats switching sides, I think that that's going to be a huge thing. But I guess you would look at it and say, which is that, socially or I don't know. But I'm leaning towards socially.
Senate Sergeant at Arms and Doorkeeper, the Honorable Jennifer A. Hemingway. Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable John Thune, and the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies.
You think we're used to social shifts more than economic shifts? I don't think so, bro. I think it's harder to change people socially than to have an economic shift. Um,
Democratic leader, the Honorable Charles E. Schumer.
yeah, I think that it's
Ranking member of the
easier
Congressional Committee on
to have an
Inaugural
economic
Ceremonies,
shift
the
than a
Honorable
social
Deb
shift.
Fischer, and Chairwoman
Um,
of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar.
I think it's very hard. Or maybe to your point, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm agreeing with you, Queez, to this point. 15 years ago, I never would have thought that Democrats would be voting for a vice president who puts tampons in boys' bathrooms, voting for people who say defund the police, people who have drag queens reading books to kids in schools, people who are putting books with little boys, doing sexual activities with other little boys in the schools. It's very having men play sports with women, boys play sports with girls. To your point, I actually would have been very surprised, but it happened very quickly. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Queez. I'm actually leaning more in you and Maya's way now. Little fake touch, like don't smear my makeup. Yeah. That's a bad angle. You got to make contact with the kiss. That's yeah, you got to make. And Queez, you said each decade had a social shift. Let me ask you this. I haven't seen a social shift with black people in America and impoverished people in America for a very long time. And what did Lyndon B. Johnson say? We will have the black people voting Democrat for the next 100 years. I haven't seen that shift. So maybe I actually see a shift of black people and a lot of people who come from impoverished backgrounds for the first time shifting to more conservative values. But I may be seeing it. Everybody sees it differently. Uncle Brother wrote, Melania has handled her role as First Lady amazingly well, especially given she never wanted to be in that role in the first place. I agree. By all the appearances, she's brilliant, and her son is too. I'm with you, Uncle Brother. I'm with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Oh man, Biden's about to. Oh no, I saw Biden reading something. I'm like, oh no.
Please welcome the chairwoman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 60th presidential inauguration. Today, President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Vance will take their oaths of office, and we will witness the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democracy.
But it could go left if it
For the
doesn't.
past year, I've chaired the inaugural ceremony committee, which includes the leadership of Congress from both parties. We thank the committee and Capitol staff and law enforcement who worked so hard over the last year, and especially the last 3 days. You've done a beautiful job, and you have shown grace under pressure. Our theme this year is our enduring democracy. The presence of so many presidents and vice presidents here today is truly a testament to that endurance. We welcome President Biden and Dr. Biden. We welcome Vice President Harris and Doug Emhoff, President Obama, President Clinton and Secretary Clinton, President Bush and Laura Bush, Vice President Pence, Vice President Quayle and Marilyn Quayle. The justices of the United States Supreme Court are with us, all 9 of them, I counted, and of course, the Trump and Vance families. This ceremony marks what will soon be 250 years of our democracy. It is the moment when leaders, elevated by the will of the people, promise to be faithful to our Constitution, to cherish and defend it. It is the moment when they become, as we all should be, the guardians of our country. Through war and peace, through adversity and prosperity, we hold this inauguration every 4 years, and today it falls on Martin Luther King Day. A further reminder that we must strive to uphold the values enshrined in our Constitution, the freedoms, the liberties, and, as is inscribed on the entrance of the United States Supreme Court, equal justice under law. But what makes this moment more than a passing ceremony is all who are watching it across the country, the people of this nation, the ordinary people doing extraordinary things. President Kennedy, who at one point worked as a senator in this building and would often walk through this very rotunda, once said, "In a democracy, every citizen, regardless of interest in politics, holds office. Every one of us is in a position of responsibility." With that responsibility of citizenship comes an obligation not to seek out malice, as President Lincoln once reminded us, but to view others with a generosity of spirit, despite our differences. With that responsibility of leadership comes an obligation to stand our ground when we must and find common ground when we can. With everything swirling around us, the hot mess of division, it is on all of us, to quote an incredible songwriter who just happened to be born in my state, to ensure that our nation's democracy is our shelter from the storm. There's a reason this ceremony takes place at the Capitol. In other countries, it might be in a presidential palace or a gilded executive office building. Here, it is traditionally held at the Capitol, the People's House. It is a fitting reminder of the system of checks and balances that is the very foundation of our government, 3 equal branches of government. That is how, for nearly 250 years, our great American experiment, grounded in the rule of law, has endured. So, as we inaugurate a new president and vice president, let us remember that the power of those in this room comes from the people. The construction workers who build our country, the teachers and healthcare workers who nurture us, the troops defending our freedoms, and yes, the firefighters in Los Angeles putting themselves on the line for us. Our democracy's strength and grit must match theirs. May God bless our nation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Endurance through the years is the ultimate test. To persevere through time is the truest measure of an idea, an institution, and a nation. Our founders wrote the Constitution so that America could withstand all the twists and turns of time. They wrote it to guide us and to preserve forever our right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But as much as the truths and principles enshrined in our Constitution remain the same, our democracy promises the American people the power to change, to chart their own destiny. That's the beauty. That is the importance of democracy. It allows the endurance, the permanence of a nation through change. It allows nations like our United States both to avoid the obstacles and to seize the opportunities God has placed before us, all while staying true to our founding principles. Today is our country's 60th inauguration ceremony. Like all the others before it, it is a celebration of our right to set our uniquely American course. The past several years have been trying at times for many, many Americans, and also for the nations of the free world that we humbly strive to lead. In November, Americans chose again to steer this nation towards greatness, the secure, safe, and prosperous future that our founders envisioned for all of us. And today, we celebrate not only their decision to do so, but also the simple right and wisdom of a free people to make their own choice so that their nation might endure. And now, allow me to welcome Archbishop Timothy Dolan and Reverend Franklin Graham, who will deliver our invocation. Please rise.
Be still and know that I am God, supreme among the nations, supreme on the earth. Let us pray. Remembering General George Washington on his knees at Valley Forge, recalling Abraham Lincoln at his second inaugural, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Remembering General George Patton's instructions to his soldiers as they began the Battle of the Bulge 8 decades ago. Pray. Pray when fighting. Pray alone. Pray with others. Pray by night. Pray by day. Observing the birthday of the Reverend Martin Luther King, who warned, without God, our efforts turn to ashes. We, blessed citizens of this one nation under God, humbled by our claim that in God we trust, gather indeed this Inauguration Day to pray for our President Donald J. Trump, his family, his advisors, his cabinet, his aspirations, his vice president, for the Lord's blessings upon Joseph Biden, for our men and women in uniform, for each other whose hopes are stoked this new year, this Inauguration Day. We cannot err in relying upon that prayer from the Bible, upon which our president will soon place his hand in oath, as we make our own the supplications of King Solomon for wisdom as he began his governance. God of our fathers, in your wisdom you set man to govern your creatures, to govern in holiness and justice, to render justice with integrity. Give our leader wisdom, for he is your servant, aware of his own weakness and brevity of life. If wisdom which comes not from you be not with him, he shall be held in no esteem. Send wisdom from heavens that she may be with him, that he may know your designs. Please, God, bless America. Please, mend her every flaw. You are the God in whom we trust, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Mr. President, the last 4 years, there are times I'm sure you thought it was pretty dark. But look what God has done. We praise him and give him glory. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, thou hast said, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. As the prophet Daniel prayed, blessed be the name of God forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his. He changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings. He raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. Our Father, today, as President Donald J. Trump takes the oath of office once again, we come to say thank you, O Lord our God. Father, when Donald Trump's enemies thought he was down and out, you and you alone saved his life and raised him up with strength and power by your mighty hand. We pray for President Trump that you'll watch over, protect, guide, direct him. Give him your wisdom from your throne on high. We ask that you would bless him and that our nation would be blessed through him. We also ask that you would bless and protect Melania as First Lady. We thank you for the beauty, the warmth, and grace that she shows not only to this nation, but to the whole world. We thank you for Vice President-elect J.D. Vance and his wife Usha and their young family. May he be a strength to President Trump, to stand beside him, to hold up his arms like Aaron held up the arms of Moses in the midst of battle. The prophet Samuel reminded the people, it was you that brought them up from the land of Egypt. And he said, now stand still that I may reason with you before the Lord. So Father, we take this moment to stand still, to remember the great things that you have done for this nation. Thank you for the protection, the bounty, the freedoms that we so enjoy. We remember to keep our eyes fixed on you, and may our hearts be inclined to your voice. We know that America can never be great again if we turn our backs on you. We ask for your help, and we pray all of this in the name of the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, your Son, my Savior, and our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Associate Justice Kavanaugh to administer the Vice Presidential Oath of Office.
JD. My boy JD.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
I knew he was a David. I knew he was a David.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Uncle Brother, that's interesting. I see your comment, Uncle Brother, and I'm doing a little research on exactly what I wasn't familiar with ranked choice voting, so that's interesting.
Please welcome Chief Justice Roberts to administer the Presidential Oath of Office.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Gotta shake by his hand. I'll mess with that. Big Anthony's buddy, Big Donnie. Hey, yo. Dang. Somebody check CapCut. Let me know if CapCut is back up and running. Who was the tallest president ever? That's a good question. Was it Abe? Let's look it up. Who was the tallest president? Abraham Lincoln. All right, so who was the shortest? Who was the shortest, Queez? That's the question. Who was the shortest? Abraham Lincoln was the tallest. Taft was the fattest. All right, James Madison was the shortest. Aren't y'all glad Kamala ain't win? If Kamala won, we'd be listening to Meg Thee Stallion right now. Nah, let me stop. A lot of y'all like, I'd rather listen to Meg than All right, what are y'all thinking right now? What are y'all thinking right now? And I saw a couple comments on Uncle Brother. You wrote a comment earlier about the ranked choice voting. We'll get into that a little bit. Remind me about that. But also from the standpoint that I think you were responding to something that Ursi wrote about the 50 wealthiest people in the world there. I know there's a lot of billionaires in the building. I think they're just singing. Let me just make sure. Yeah, they're just singing, so it's all good. I'll put it on a little low in the background so y'all can hear. But how do y'all feel about that? When you hear Joe Biden warn about the oligarchy, how do y'all feel about that? Does it make you feel safer, the fact that we have a president that's working with some of the most influential and powerful people in the world from a business standpoint? Or does that make us feel a little bit nervous? I guess it depends on the individual. We can see that there would be some obvious pros to it, but we can also see how there could potentially be some obvious cons to it. You know, we talk about money controlling a lot of these politicians, and that's the reason why our culture, our society is what it is today. That's the reason why a lot of the issues with Big Pharma and the FDA, a lot of these things is because it's controlled by the big money entities that support the politicians from a financial standpoint, where you'll have a Joe Biden. I think we talked about it on the last show with Kevin O'Leary calling him out. It's like Joe Biden's calling out the oligarchies and stuff like that. But who do we think's paying Joe Biden the money when he's been a career politician, but somehow now he's worth almost what, $15 million, we said, or 12 million, 13 million, whatever him and Jill are worth? How did you accumulate all your money? Have you ever even had a salary over $500,000? How did you accumulate all your money? So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. And a lot of people, I guess, you know, they're going to be concerned with the Elons. They're going to be concerned with Zuckerberg, with Bezos. But I guess when you think about it, based on everything we've heard the liberals say about Donald Trump, is he's such a person that doesn't listen to anybody, right? He just does what he wants. So therefore, I guess maybe he'll keep that same energy that y'all suggested that he has. And maybe he's the person that can have business dealings with a lot of these wealthy people, but be so arrogant, as a lot of y'all call, and just so stuck in his own ways to where he's going to do his own thing, right? So which one is it? Which one is it? In my opinion, I think that Trump is he's shown that he could be a leader. Hold on. Let's listen to this. Hold on.
To introduce to you the 45th and the 47th
All right.
president.
I got to shut up right now. Let's hear what
Donald
the Don got to say. He's like, yo, clear out first, build it up, and then I'll come to the mic. Yo, this dude is, yo. Yo, am I a Trumper? I gotta ask myself that every day.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly. My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true. Thank you. Thank you. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. Illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal, and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Yo! Yo!
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families. Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made, and Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. Ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation, and right now our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken. I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do. In America, the impossible is what we do best. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America, promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We are going to win like never before. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly, we will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing America the Beautiful, please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and Carrie Underwood.
Y'all can sing along if y'all like. Look at Bush in the back. And Uncle Brother, I wrote down a couple of the things that you wanted to touch on. So I definitely got the last, you said no shout out for the enslaved Africans. No, I'm definitely singing along. I'm definitely singing along. If they hurry up and drop this, see they. Put the beat on, drop the beat. Shout out to Albert. Albert said crypto is about to go big. I'm banking on, well, yeah, I want crypto to go big. I'm banking on this Tesla, baby. Come on, man. I need this Tesla. Elon, holla at me.
If you know the words, help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
So the music didn't play. All right, that may have worked out best. I don't know. Anthony's funny. Yo, y'all get off my boy
Ladies
Biden.
and gentlemen, Senator Fisher will now introduce the benediction clergy.
I now call on Rabbi Ari Berman, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, and Reverend Frank Mund.
Lorenzo, that
to
sound
provide prayers
like
of benediction.
Shut up, Dad.
Let us pray. Almighty God, your prophet Jeremiah walked the streets of Jerusalem and blessed its inhabitants with the Hebrew words, Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach BaHashem. Blessed is the one who trusts in God. Thousands of years later, this great nation, which adopted these words as its motto, "In God we trust," stands at a moment of historic opportunity. Americans are searching for meaning. Our merciful Father, help us rise to meet this moment. Bless President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance with the strength and courage to choose the right and the good. Unite us around our foundational biblical values of life and liberty, of service and sacrifice, and especially of faith and morality, which George Washington called the indispensable supports of American prosperity. Guide our schools and college campuses, which have been experiencing such unrest, to inspire the next generation, to pair progress with purpose, knowledge with wisdom, and truth with virtue. Hear the cry of the hostages, both American and Israeli, whose pain our president so acutely feels. We are so thankful for the 3 young women who yesterday returned home, and pray that the next 4 years brings peace to Israel and throughout the Middle East. Almighty God, grant all Americans the opportunity to realize our shared dream of a life filled with peace and plenty, health and happiness, compassion and contribution. Stir within us the confidence to rise to this moment. For while we trust in God, God's trust is in us, the American people. America is called to greatness. to be a beacon of light and a mover of history. May our nation merit the fulfillment of Jeremiah's blessing, that like a tree planted by water, we shall not cease to bear fruit. May all of humanity experience your love and your blessing. May it be thy will, and let us say, Amen.
Let us pray for our 47th president. Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are the one that have called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We pray that you use our president, that we will live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful today that you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous hilltops of California, but God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
Who is this? No. Too much.
Almighty and eternal God, we gather here today in reverence, joined in our shared hopes and dreams for our beloved nation. In this sacred moment of the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, we turn our hearts to you, seeking your divine assistance and abundant blessings upon this pivotal moment in history. We come before you with profound gratitude for the many gifts you have bestowed upon our land. Thank you for the freedoms we cherish, for the strength of our communities, and for the resilience of our spirit. As our President and Vice President embrace their newly appointed roles, we humbly implore that your everlasting love and wisdom will envelop them. Grant them the clarity of mind to navigate the challenges that lie ahead, and the compassion to serve all citizens with fairness and integrity. May their hearts be filled with a giving spirit and sincere understanding for those whom they represent. May they be beacons of hope in times of uncertainty and prophetic voices in defending the dignity of all created life. We pray for a spirit of collaboration to flourish in our government and across our nation, fostering an environment where dialogue and heartfelt listening will prevail over division or discord. May each decision made by our President and Vice President reflect the values of justice and peace. As we embark on this new chapter, we also seek your comfort, O God, for those who feel lost or disheartened. In this time of transition, may your light shine upon them, reaffirming their belief in a brighter tomorrow. May we all strive to lift one another, supporting our fellow citizens with kindness and empathy, recognizing that together we can overcome any adversity. Grant us the strength to endure, the courage to face our fears, and the clarity to see the light that remains, even when clouds of uncertainty may gather. Inspire our new leaders to be champions for the vulnerable and advocates for those whose voices are often silenced. May they pursue policies that promote the well-being of all, seeking to build bridges that will foster unity and belonging. As we stand witness to this inauguration, we hold fast to our faith in the goodness of each of us and the possibility of change. We trust that with your guidance, O God, our nation can move forward to a future filled with promise, prosperity, and understanding. And finally, we lift our hearts in gratitude for the beloved parents of President Trump. Without Mary and Fred Trump, this day would never be the miracle that has just begun. From their place in heaven, may they shield their son from all harm by their loving protection, and give him the strength to guide our nation along the path that will make America great again. Let us go forth now with these words of President Trump's emblazoned on our hearts. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail. We stand tall, we stand proud, because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God, and to God alone. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for our national anthem.
Can you say, o'er the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose blood stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain at your seats while the President and official party depart the platform.
Let's get into the combo. Time to get into the combo. What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? So I took down a whole lot of notes. I'm just gonna be honest. All the extraness with the pastor talk, like that's a different generation. I think. Like I could just speak for my opinion on it. Like save all the extraness. Like I'll be totally honest. The whole MLK thing with him mimicking MLK or trying to give off that MLK energy, just me personally, if I heard an MLK speech right now, I wouldn't really be as into it. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't like the MLK speeches. All MLK speeches I'm not referring to, but the whole like I was more of a direct Malcolm type of communicator. That's just me. That's how I prefer the message to be communicated for me. Obviously, MLK comes from a church background. I'm not as into the whole pastor preacher way of communicating. That's just me as far as what the culture overall is. Just not really into it. I'm more of a give me the message, Malcolm X style, and we go from there. That's just my form of communicating. So that's just me, but everybody's different. Some people may have liked his whole spin. I thought it was extra. The black pastor, I thought it was extra. One thing that I did, I got a text message from somebody that was saying how they're not really fans. Let me actually make sure I'm reading the text correctly. Saying that it's so sad to me that a reverend can't pray without reading it. And this person, I'm not going to say who it is. It just is what it is. I refuse to pray before a Georgia football game because they wanted me to read the prayer and not mention Jesus's name. All right, so I like when people just speak in general without having to read stuff. That's just me. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but that's one credit that I'll give to the brother. As far as I don't think he was reading off of anything, but it's just a little extra for me. I'm just being me. Let me actually, so there were a bunch of things that you guys mentioned that came up. Some of them I mentioned. I saw that I wrote down a couple notes with Uncle Brother. You mentioned, should the rich keep getting richer? Or you mentioned something about the rich keep getting richer. What is your opinion on this? Is it symbolic of a successful society when the rich keep getting richer? Shouldn't the rich keep getting richer in a successful society? I'm just wondering, because what's the alternative? That the people that are rich are not getting as wealthy, or the wealth, I guess, is spread out among more people. So the rich are losing their wealth while the people that don't have a lot of wealth are getting wealthier. Like, I'm just asking what would be symbolic of a good society, because, and there's a few different factors that I would add in there. But let me kind of get your feedback on that first. And Queez brought up a great question. Did that come from MLK, or was that black pastors always like that? And that's why I said I think MLK just came from a black pastor background. I don't know. In my mind goes a whole bunch of different places. Like, I think of maybe having to be more performative, maybe over time. When I think about the church, right? When we were given Christianity during slavery, the church was a way for us to get together that one day out of the week, maybe feel better about life, be inspired. even though we were obviously living in times that were not very happy times, not as much to be grateful about, or I don't know. So for me, maybe it was necessary to use more performative tactics in giving speeches, because especially when I go to think about a Nat Turner, where they had Nat Turner trying to convince people, it's like if you have to convince people who are enslaved and you're trying to give them Christianity, and you're trying to give them Christianity by way of you getting it taught to you through the same people that are oppressing you, it's almost like, yeah, we got to use some type of performative efforts, because if I'm just communicating with you directly how I'm communicating with you, then who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy into Christianity without all the performative things and theatrics if you're enslaved and somebody's trying to preach to you a religion that's different than the religion that you had growing up, that's different than your spirituality that you had growing up, or that your ancestors had growing up, and now they're giving it to you as some sort of salvation. I'm just being honest. So Uncle Brother, let me read this. Uncle Brother wrote, "Oh, come on, bruh. Can't we cut the brother a little slack and just reframe his channeling Dr. King as a tribute to MLK on his holiday without actually trying to take the spotlight off of Trump?" Bro, I'm telling you, I don't like it. This is a perfect point. Uncle Brother, instead of you pushing back on me, cutting him some slack, I'm just telling you that's not how I prefer to be communicated to. Just like you may prefer it, or your generation may prefer it, but I'm telling you, Queez is telling you the same thing. I think Maya mentioned it as well. If we're talking about communicating, and if you want people to receive a message, I've talked about it plenty of times on here, how I've had to adjust my style of communicating if I want people to take heed to the things that I'm saying. I don't react well. You can ask Maya. I've walked out of a funeral because of stuff like that. I've walked out of a funeral because of an extra pastor that I thought it was actually being disrespectful. You're trying to save people, all these theatrics. That's not how I communicate. It's phony to me. I don't think that you necessarily need to use those things. That's just me. That's just my preference in communicating. You have your preference. So why do we got to cut him some slack? You cut him some slack. If you like it, you cut him some slack. I don't like it. That's just me. And Maya wrote, yeah, he was definitely trying to do a tribute to MLK, but it felt cringy in the room. I'm not saying that he's a bad person. I'm just saying I don't like that whole pastor. I don't like it. I ain't like when Barack did it. So the same way I call out Barack, I'm going to call out that guy. I'm not with it, bro. Just chill with all the theatrics. And that may be a microcosm, and I'm going to probably sound a little crazy saying this, but that's a microcosm of how Black people receive information, in my opinion. You saw the other people give out their information. You saw the Jewish gentleman, I believe it was a Catholic gentleman. Look at how they receive information. Look at how Black people communicate their information. And it's extra to me, bro. It's extra to me. And y'all may say I'm nitpicking. Y'all may see I don't have a point. Y'all may see all this other stuff, but I don't like it, bro. Just give me the information straightforward and direct. I don't need all this extraness. Hold on, Myro, and I don't think he was taken away from Trump at all. I think Trump clearly wanted that energy there because he chose him. Yeah, I'm actually critiquing. I'm being critical of Trump. I think Trump wanted him to do that, or was okay with it at least. I'm not okay with it. So put my criticism on Trump. Trump, choose a different pastor, or tell that pastor don't come with all that Negro spiritual energy. Yeah. This is just me. I shouldn't say Negro spiritual, because the Negro spiritual has nothing to do with, well, I know we think of Negro spirituals as directly relating to the church. My issue is the church. That's my issue. So the spirituals, cool and all that, but I just prefer a different form of communication. Just me. Maya wrote, but it was just over the top to me, especially for the setting. It felt like a performance. That's all I'm saying. It just felt a little extra, bro. Like, you ain't got to do all that. Like, you could just be yourself from the mountains in New York. Like, bro, like, Relax, bruh. It's just me. That's just me. I just thought it was extra too much. And it comes across as a little phony. And to me, I'm looking at it as a black man, how I'm being received. I'm like, dang, like that's a bad look for us. Like just me. I don't know. But that's just me. All right, let's get back to the question that I asked y'all as far as with the rich getting richer. Uncle Brother, you mentioned, as I believe you were being critical, you were saying that we'll see what happens while Donald Trump's in office. And I believe that you were referring to we'll see what happens. Will it be just the rich continuing to get richer, or will there be a difference? My question is, would it be a successful society if the rich doesn't keep getting richer? And what makes people rich? What makes people rich? Is it a mindset thing? Do rich people, are they doing certain things where it's almost like what makes Steph Curry or the Patriots a successful football team, or what makes any other company successful? Because they do certain things that are aligned with achieving success, right? Or do we look at all successful people as they had to snake somebody over in order to become successful? So I guess depending on how we look at that may factor into our outlook on what would make the country a successful society and a successful economy. Let me. Uncle Brother said it was a performance. He seized the moment. Clearly, you love it. You like it. You love it. Cool. you felt it. Everything's a performance when it comes to putting black people on a stage. Why would the Jewish person, we didn't look at his as a performance. We didn't look at the Catholic guy as a performance. I'm just saying, like, why is everything so performative? Like, you didn't look at Donald Trump's speech as a performance, even though you may say that it was. His was just extra over the top, and that's just my opinion. Antonice wrote, we're programmed to think like that. Antonice, break down exactly what you're referring to. Just so I know that I'm responding to the right thing. But getting back to the whole, the country, a lot of people, I think that a lot of people, when we grow up without a lot of money, a lot of us have in our mindsets, we're programmed to look at it. And Antonice, this may be what you're saying as well. We're programmed to see the rich as everything they did was they had to snake somebody out, or their success, we're entitled to that because of slavery and reparations. Like, we don't necessarily give success the proper credit, in my opinion. And maybe that's why a lot of us never reach success, because we look at these people as, oh, they're just successful because of these things. And those things we're looking at as excuses, because we're saying, oh, they're only successful because of white privilege. They're only successful because they have a rich family member. They're only successful because of these things. And in reality, what we're doing is we're just saying, we're just giving ourselves reasons as to why we're not successful. I don't see the world like that. I don't see America like that. And if I did see America like that, I would be looking at other countries to move to, just being honest. I think that America, and let me catch up with some of these comments, but I think that America, I think it's a mindset thing. And I'm going to ask y'all an interesting question when it pertains to making America great again. But let me catch up with some of these comments, and I have it written down so I won't forget it. Uncle Brother wrote, I don't mind the rich getting richer, just not at the expense of everybody else. All economic levels should rise proportionally. Why? My question is, hold on, let's move over a little bit. My question to you, Uncle Brother, is why? All economic levels should rise proportionally. Why? In a sports league, should everybody get better proportionally? Everybody has free will, right? The only way that things will rise proportionally, or one of the only ways, is with government influence, which a lot of people would say is leading to more communist thoughts. Other than that, people just have their free will. And this is why I say it's mentality. Look at the mentality and the mindset of people that are in impoverished communities. Their mindset, and you could say that it's white supremacy. You could say that it's the religion that they were that was instilled in them through slavery. You could say whatever it is that you want, but we have to acknowledge that their mindset is completely different. Forget all the resources. And that's why it's not a money thing for me, first and foremost, because you can put as much money into the Black community as you want to right now, and or impoverished areas, and it wouldn't make a difference, especially when it comes to Black people, because the mentality is wrong. All it's going to do is continuously make the people who already have rich wealth more richer, because who are we going to spend the money with? We're going to spend it with those businesses because it's a mentality thing. So I don't know whether whether it should rise at an even level proportionally, like, oh, well, as the rich make more money, the poor should make more money. The poor, some people don't want to make money. Some people don't value making money over other people. Some people value it too much, too little. It is what it is. I just don't see it as, well, it's just going to be another 4 years of the rich getting richer. Yeah. You want to know why? Because the rich are going to get richer, whether it's good times, bad times, or indifferent, in even time. Like it doesn't matter, because the rich people know how to take advantage of a bad economy, and they know how to continuously make money in a good economy. Because they're taught certain things, certain principles, certain tools, certain skills that everybody's not taught. The people in the bottom, yeah, they're just riding a wave. They're just riding a wave, relying on the government, because most people don't have the same, they don't have that independent mentality. They don't have that mentality to where they even see themselves of having the possibility of having a certain level of success. The view of success is totally different in the impoverished communities compared to wealthy communities and affluent communities. It's just different. Let me make sure I'm keeping up with everybody. I can't type all that I was agreeing with you, LOL, and then answered another question. All right, I got you, into these. That's what I'm saying. I got you. Uncompetitive wrote, these religious types seem to forget that God is omniscient. Hold on. Y'all throwing some big words in there. I can't even read it. Let me zoom in. Omniscient. I throw that in there. I've seen it before, but I don't even know. I gotta look that up. This is what I do when I hold on. Omniscient. I can tell by how you're using it, but I want to be sure that I'm aware of the definition. Omniscient, knowing everything. All right. Knowing everything. Not ashamed, not ashamed. See, I don't know everything. I'm not omniscient. So these religious types seem to forget that God is omniscient and they don't need to go extra. I agree. It's just that's just how I receive the word. Like or any bit of knowledge. I don't need the theatrics. Matter of fact, when somebody's trying to convince me something with a lot of theatrics, it actually distracts me from exactly what I'm trying to take away from the message. And I understand that it can provide some motivational purposes. It's like before a game. If I'm getting ready to play a game, just to let y'all know, I was never the type of player that is the super duper rah rah, or you're going to encourage me with the super duper rah rah. I like it when it's real, but when it's just like planned out and more performative, bruh, like, yo, go over there with that. Like, I'm already focused. I'm locked in. I don't need all that extra performative stuff. Now, if it's real and it comes across as genuine, then that may be different. I may get into that. But I'm in the back, like locked in. I don't need anybody else's energy. I'm already ready to go. Like, that's just my mindset, my mentality. So I look at it the same here. I wish we could call in. Call in, Anthony's. You want to jump on camera? I'll send you the link. I'll definitely send you the link. I used to feel like Uncle Brother, but how my boo explained it to me made sense. My boo equals my husband. Broke it down and is on the same thought as you. Okay, dope. Yeah, I'm about to say, make it clear. My boo means my husband. Yes, it wouldn't make any difference if the mindset ain't changed. I agree. Let me catch up with these. Why do the prices of everything we buy have to go up in order for the rich to get richer? If poor people are to blame for what they earn, are they also to blame for the higher prices they have to pay? All right, I'm sure. Why do the prices of everything we buy have to go up in order for the rich to get richer? I'm not sure I understand that, but one thing, or I'm not even sure that I said that, or agree with that. Like, I don't know where I stand on that, Uncle Brother. I'm gonna be honest. Why did the prices of everything we buy have to go up in order for the rich to get richer? I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if Big Pharma needs to add or needs to pay more money or needs to have us pay more money. Matter of fact, a lot of times Big Pharma is profiting off of, like, it's just giving us so much. How do I look at that? One thing I will say is that the prices are probably going to go up of a lot of stuff if we focus on making stuff in America. Are we okay with that? Are we okay with paying more if the products are made in America with American workforce, giving Americans jobs, allowing us to compete more competitively, so maybe the prices can go down in the future, so we're not relying on importing a lot of these goods? I don't know. Let me get to the next point. If poor people are to blame for what they earn, who's blaming poor? Wait, what? I'm not sure I'm following. If poor people are to blame for what they earn, are they also to blame for the higher prices they have to pay? I'm a little, you losing me. I'm a little bit lost, Uncle Brother. I'm gonna be honest. If poor people are to blame for what they earn, what do you mean? It's not a blame thing. I don't know if maybe I'm not sure that I understand completely what you're saying. Poor people are to blame for what they earn. You earn what you earn. That's why it's called earn. If you earn a lot of money, okay, you earn a lot of money. If you don't earn a lot of money, you don't earn a lot of money. I'm not following you. Can you break that down a little bit more? Uncompetitive wrote, many drop out of the rich because they lose everything because they took financial risks the poor wouldn't take. That's a fact. That's a fact. Like, I don't understand, and I do understand it. We legit are brought up from a young age with the mindset that the only reason why people were successful, white privilege, right? The only reason why the rich are rich is because they've had certain privileges and advantages and have taken something from us and stepped on our necks, the people at the bottom, to get wealthier. That's the mindset of us, how we've been brought up. So it doesn't surprise me that when we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, that we're seeing the world through a lens that is very aligned with us just thinking that these people, they had to do something crooked in order to gain this money, or we look down on their achievements. It's almost like how we embrace rooting for underdogs. Like, why? Why would you embrace rooting for an underdog? Like, why not root for the favor? Why not root for the person? Like, but it's just our mindset, in a lot of ways. Who do you relate to? Do you relate to being more the underdog, or do you relate to winning and being successful? You won last year, you won the year before, you won the year. Now, some people will say, oh, it's they only won because of, like, the reason why we don't value winners is because we say, well, they only won because of this or because of that unfair advantages that they had. If you didn't look at them as winning with unfair advantages and just said, wait, how are they able to win? Let's look into the things that they're doing to win. Oh, I can learn this stuff too. I could be doing this stuff too. And then, to me, that would shift your mind to look at it from a different perspective, instead of just saying, oh, well, the rich, like, they're just winning because they're unfair. They do things unfair. Nah, they're doing things. We could do the same things over here. But we just look at it differently, which is why we don't always value winners. Why am I saying this? I was the same thing with the Patriots. For some reason, I just hated the Patriots always winning. And I have no idea why. That's why I show them love now. Anthony's wrote, peep game these next 4 years. Everyone has the potential to come up with, all right, everywhere, all the time. I agree. Uncompetitive wrote, Uncle Brother, the high prices are due to inflation, which is largely due to gas prices affecting distribution costs because Joe wanted to be green and stop fracking. Okay. Uncle Brother, the border is actually of secondary importance to... Hold on, did I miss a comment? Let me make sure that I didn't miss a comment. Let me know if I ever... If I'm missing a comment, just shoot me a reminder that I'm skipped over a comment. You could either copy and paste it or just let me know and I'll try to scroll up. Uncle Brother, the border is actually of secondary importance to drilling for oil, as bringing down the cost of gas will help the U.S. economically enormously for everyone, even those without cars. Okay. Uncle Brother wrote, I'm just saying that in communist China, which is very capitalistic, actually, all economic levels have benefited from the country's growing economic prosperity. So what are you saying? Should we be more like China? What are you suggesting? What are you suggesting? I don't know. I don't know. Are you suggesting that? Let me ask you this, Uncle Brother. This is what I would ask you. What would it look like? Like, what would a society look like, or what would you like to see Donald Trump do in order to help impoverished communities get out of poverty? And then I guess we're assuming by that people in poverty do not want to be in poverty, right? Now, my question would be this. You ever had somebody want to lose weight, but they don't do the things necessary to lose weight? They know exactly what they need to do to lose weight, but they're not losing weight. So do they really want to lose weight? So that would be my question about when it comes to impoverished people. How many books have you read on self-help? How many self-help books did you read this year? So there's certain things that people can do in order to make more money, to become more successful, to learn a new trade, to learn a new skill. Are people actually doing those things, or are we just putting all of the emphasis on the government in order to do certain things to where people are just making more money and climbing out of poverty? I'm just asking. And black people be gatekeeping, no shade. I agree with all that. I agree with that, Anthony's. I agree with all that. To me, and so this is a question that comes up a lot. Let me ask y'all this, and let me remove this background. I think we saw enough of Trump and the inauguration for now. A question came up that I saw this gentleman answer, and it was based around, like, they were doing a debate between Democrats and Republicans, and the question was based around, when was America ever great? When was America ever great? When you hear "Make America Great Again," I know when I used to hear that, when he first started pushing it, I was like, yo, that's racist. Just that slogan is racist, because how can you sit here and say that America was great? Like, when was America great? Let me ask y'all a question. Let me kind of look to my notes a little bit. Is America being great based on things being fair, based on morals, based on how we view culture? What makes a country great? And then I haven't even really thought out this, and I'm not saying, I'm getting ready to throw something out there that I don't know if I even 100% agree with it. But these are some of the thoughts that I was having that I'm going to have to ponder over the next couple of days and with y'all on the show, and maybe even longer than that. I'm putting myself, and the question that somebody asked, the Democrat asked, as far as this gentleman, like, when was America great? And don't give me from 2016 to 2020, give me before Donald Trump started saying it. And when you look at right after slavery, because to me, a lot of America being great, just like whether or not Joe Biden was a great president, just like the economy, just like the stocks, it's just based on how people feel about a company, how people feel about a president, and how people feel about a country, right? So if you look at the mindset, now some people will say, like, how can you even consider right after slavery like America being great? And I'm not saying that I am. I'm telling y'all the thoughts that come through my mind. How can you consider right after slavery it being great? Well, I'm trying to think about what our ancestors who went through slavery felt during those times, where even though they didn't have anything, right? We live in a time right now, we have a lot. We get the new Jordans, we have access to a lot, right? Access to it. Coming out of slavery, they were so appreciative of the opportunity. Now I can read a book. Think about the last time you read a book. Think about the last time that a young kid read a book, even that they were asked to read in school and didn't look at the Spark Notes, or I don't know what they got right now, but that just you saw a kid just reading a book, or even adults just reading a book. But the mindset right after slavery, I'm sure they couldn't wait to read a book. They probably cherished every single page, learning how to read. You look at the kids right now in Chicago and Baltimore, none of the kids can read. So if none of the kids can read at reading level when they have everything that's given to them, it takes me back to that saying where it's like hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create strong times. Weak men create hard times. So at what point in that cycle is it great? Is it great at the point where the hard times create a strong man, in which that strong man has a strong mindset and a strong willpower, to where right after slavery, you feel because you've endured so much, now you're going to take advantage of an opportunity that you have to learn, to not be in slavery, to marry each other more, where now we have the freedom to marry whoever we want, right? We can marry the same sex. You can marry whoever you want, right? You could probably marry an animal now. If Kamala would have won, you can marry whoever you want. But why is the marriage rates so low? Why are the marriage rates lower? So to me, getting back to my thought process on this, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking like, maybe it's a mentality. Maybe it's a mentality to where I endured everything, whether it was slavery, whether it was Jim Crow. Maybe it's a mentality. And I believe that no matter what, I have the opportunity to live out what has become this American dream. I have the opportunity to be successful. Of course, it's not fair. Of course, it's all these things that are that are weighing against me that person may not have against them. But my mentality is I have a chance, and I'm going to squeeze every bit of juice out of that chance in order to become successful and in order to leave this world in a better place so the next generation can become even more successful. That's the mentality that I'm dropping off in my child. The mentality that I'm going to be associated with when it comes to the culture that I've created just in my community, my village, my tribe. So when I think back to when America was great, or if America will ever be great, to me, it just goes based on a mentality. There's been certain times in your life where you've probably been down and out, but you may have felt better in those moments compared to the ones where you feel like you have everything. You feel like you got your dream job, feel like you got your girl, you feel like you got all these things. I don't know. But maybe you don't feel as inspired. Maybe you don't feel like you're working towards your purpose. Maybe you don't feel that you're working towards a greater good. I don't know. Will it just be when will America just be great when, like, at what percentage do people need to be out of poverty for America to be great? Will America just be great when people are living above the poverty line? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. But to me, just thinking on a lot of these things and kind of finalizing, putting a bow to my thought, it's the mindset that determines everything. Our mindsets determine everything. You can have a team that or a situation that is supposed to be extremely favorable for you, but if you have the wrong mindset going into it, it doesn't matter what you have on your side. I'd rather take the right mindset with maybe limited resources over that mindset, and that goes back to the saying, easy times create weak men. And maybe that's what we're seeing in a lot of our kids now. Maybe because going back to the point, could you imagine if we had the mindset of a person that just got out of slavery in the last 5 years? Imagine if we had that mindset right now with all the opportunity that we have, even though the Democrats and the liberals try to make it seem as if the world is holding us back and we have no chance of success unless we vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, even though they're trying to convince us of that. Imagine what somebody who's 5 years removed from slavery would be looking at us saying. They would be saying the same thing that black people around the world say about black Americans. These niggas is lazy. They got every opportunity they don't take advantage of. They're spoiled. They're ungrateful. Just think about what they would be saying. That's why I think it's a mentality. When you look at the life that I have compared to somebody 5 years removed from slavery or compared to somebody living during Jim Crow, I think it's clear to say that, yo, life is amazing. I think it's clear for a lot of us to say that life is amazing. So why are we still struggling so much? Why does it feel like, from a mentality, when you hear people talk about the black community, why does it seem like, damn, like they're almost less grateful of what they have now compared to what before? Which is going to lead us to have more of the success that we act as if we want, or we say that we want. So to me, it goes back to, if we had the mindset of in the 40s, when people were getting married at a higher rate than now, when black women were getting married at a higher rate than white women, what if we had that right now? I'm just asking. So I don't know if America, if you think that it's ever been great, or I don't know what it would even look like for you to say that it is great in the future. But to me, it all goes back to our mentality and what we think and how we approach the day and how optimistic we are and ready to take advantage of whatever. I don't care if it's a small opportunity, how passionate we're going to pursue it. So that's a little bit of kind of what was just going through my mind. Like I said, I still don't know exactly how I feel about it, but these are just the thoughts that were going through my mind. Let me catch up on a couple comments. Damn, my fault. Dang, I missed a lot. Hold on. I didn't know where I missed all these. Hold on. All right. So Uncle Brother wrote, I'm suggesting that our country's economy grows to unprecedented levels. The size of our economically impoverished should not be growing to unprecedented levels too. Let me ask you this, Uncle Brother. Have you ever mentored a younger person who just doesn't want to, how can I put this? I like relating everything to sports, right? Have y'all ever had teammates where every teammate is not trying to get better? Every teammate is not trying to get better. So if somebody's not trying to get better, should life improve for them? If you have a teammate right now that's not trying to get better, should they get more playing time? Should they score more? Or should it be, no, you're Kobe Bryant. You work your butt off. You keep working. Yeah, you airball them balls. Well, keep working. Keep working. Keep chopping wood. Where you'll have a lot of other teammates. Now, should the teammates that aren't working, should they experience the success like Kobe? So I don't know until we decide to tell, like, I don't put an emphasis on, like, it seems like you're putting an emphasis on the government. I put an emphasis on individuals. I put an emphasis on the individuals. If you have a life that you do not like, use that to motivate you, to inspire you to have better. It's no different. Do you know how sometimes I get this thought in my mind where it's like, yo, I wish I could be obese. So then the gains that I make would be appreciated more. If I take a shirt off picture right now, it's not going to be as appreciated as much as you see a Lizzo or somebody who was just heavy, who just lost some weight. Let's say they could do a 3-day and they could be celebrated more than because mine, it just seems like it's consistent, right? So there's not the same level of appreciation there. I wish that I could, sometimes I'm thinking like, yo, if I could just be fat and obese, whatever you call it, I'm not trying to be insensitive. And then I would just lose a whole bunch of weight and document my journey on Instagram and then align myself with different weight loss supplements, whatever, then that would be a win, right? Because you have the whole story. So it's the same thing when it comes to the mindset of people that are impoverished. If you decide that you want to be living in poverty, then that's on you. Now, should you have some assistance? Should you have people pushing you? Of course. You should have a community, a village, a family, a tribe. But if you decide to not take advantage of that opportunity, that's not, you can't blame the government on that, in my opinion. Anthony's too real, and they still act like we don't have nothing. I read a book a few hours ago. Shout out to Anthony's. That's why you different mindset. Uncompetitive wrote, Uncle Brother, hopefully there will be more trade schools and apprenticeships under Trump as universities create communist and huge lifelong debt. What are you saying is being given to the impoverished kids in Baltimore that they are neglecting to take advantage of? A top-notch school system full of competent, well-paid teachers invested in. How about the ability to go to the library and read, Uncle Brother? How about the ability to put your phone down or put the video games down to the side and pick up a book? Is that not privileged enough? And this is the point that I'm making, Uncle Brother. You're only comparing the kids in Baltimore to the kids in Beverly Hills right now. Why don't you compare the kids in Baltimore to the kids that were growing up 5 years out of slavery, when they took advantage more of the opportunity that they had to educate themselves when it wasn't easy for them, compared to the kids now? What can a kid in Baltimore, with all this DEI stuff that we got going on right now, with everything that we got going on with affirmative, all this stuff that hopefully stops when Trump's in. But what do you mean? Like, why are we looking at the kid? Yeah, the same kids in Baltimore, the ones that come in the Jordans. Yeah, their parents can have them read. We're acting as if Asians, like the Asian population is a good population to look at. We're acting as if all Asians come over here with a lot of money. No, they have a mentality, a certain level of discipline, to where they will sacrifice whatever is necessary in order to educate their children. They're not sitting here saying, well, what opportunities do the kids in Baltimore have? Isn't the mayor of Baltimore from Baltimore? So what did he do? Seeing, Uncle Brother wrote, seeing those kids succeed in libraries full of the latest technology they can use to learn to code. Uncle Brother, they can tap in. They have the opportunity to tap in on a show right now that we're on and listen to the things that you're saying. They can listen to this conversation. They didn't have that opportunity 5 years after slavery. They didn't have this opportunity, Jim Crow. They didn't have YouTube University, where you can literally go on YouTube and learn a trade like that and then go get a job. They didn't have any of these things. We got to stop giving excuses to people, not because they don't deserve them, but because it doesn't do anything but hinder their success. People can, if a kid grows up in Baltimore right now, they have every opportunity to say, like, damn, look, I was born in Baltimore. I was born in Chicago. I was born into this. Yes, you were. Yes, it's a shame. It's a shame that you were born in this. Now, do you want to get out of it? Or do you want to people to continue to tell you, hey, this is a shame that you were born here? And do you want to see yourself as a victim? You're right. I'm not, you can be right. You can live in that victimhood. A lot of people do it. You can pat yourself on the back. You can do whatever it is that you need to do to make yourself feel better about life. But if you want to be successful, there's certain small things that you can do, whether you're growing up in the inner city in Chicago, the inner city in Baltimore, the Bronx. There's small things that you can do. And I'm not saying that it's going to be as easy as everybody else, but so what? Neither is getting to the NBA, and all y'all think y'all going to the NBA. All y'all think y'all going to the NFL. I guarantee you reading a book is a lot easier than that. It's a lot easier to become successful in life than it is to make the NFL or the NBA. But why do all the black kids in the community have the battery in our back when it comes to every parent thinking that their kid's going to be the next LeBron James, compared to just, hey, you can get a solid job with a solid salary, or you can start a business. Can you imagine if black kids, instead of chasing the NFL and the NBA, put that time and effort into learning a business on YouTube and creating those businesses, how much money and how much more success we would have? Uncle Brother wrote, I guess I'm just out of touch, but when I roll through Baltimore, kids run up to my car with squeegees trying to clean my windows. They're not sitting around on their iPhone because they don't have one. Uncle Brother. When you roll through these same impoverished areas, okay, you're saying that they don't have cell phones. Those are some of the best dressed. You go to a black school that's in the hood in poverty. They will have some of the nicest clothes compared to that white school that is up the street, down the whatever else, however far it is. I think it is a little bit, I'm not going to say out of touch, but I think it's just a different generational view at this. And maybe if those kids were taught, instead of picking up a squeegee, to pick up a book by their parents. Matter of fact, instead of, and there's nothing wrong with the school. Well, maybe if they were taught how to do it in a, maybe get money in a different way, maybe things would go a lot better. I'm just being honest. I'm just from my perspective. We act as if, like, on one end, I feel like when we treat a group of people like such victims, we take away the potential that they have in them. They take away the potential that they have in them. This is not a complicated thing, in my opinion. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's not complicated to be successful. You can tell anybody, if you sell something, if you're in sales, which is why I recommend that everybody experiences sales. It is not hard to sell products. You just knock on doors. What most people suffer from, myself included, is you stop knocking on doors. It's not like it's a complicated thing. Okay, my success rate is, for every 10 people that I visit, I sell one product to people. Okay, so you have the option to, you have a 10% close rate, 1 out of 10. So you can either improve in your delivery or something that increases your close rate to maybe 2 out of 10 people. Or if you just keep things the same, then you need to just up the amount of people that you're going to see. If you see 100 people a week, that means you just made 10 sales. This is not complicating. We act as if, like, there's really, as much as we think is holding us back, and maybe this is just me being delusional, I don't see it. And if you have things holding you back, if you are obese, if you are overweight, then don't you have an added level of motivation compared to somebody that's already in shape to work out? Don't you have the added level of motivation to where you go to the gym for 3 weeks and you see a significant difference? I don't know the last time that I saw a difference in my body. Just being real. But I continuously do it because I just think that that's what I should do in order to kind of challenge myself to get even better, to take care of my physique, to improve my conditioning. It's the same thing when it comes to what we're discussing here. If you're going through such, like, there's certain people that grow up in the hood, like my dad, that use it to motivate them and to inspire them so their kids don't have to grow up in that. And there's other people that continue the cycle. But we can waste all of our time, effort, and energy blaming things on the government. In my opinion, that's how we got caught up in the mess with the Democratic Party that we're in right now. Voting for them for years without having them do anything for us, because first and foremost, we shouldn't be relying on a government or any political party to do the things that we can do ourselves for our community. Give me one thing that a Democrat or a Republican can do to help me become more successful that we as a community, whoever's in this conversation right now, we can't do as a community together. Now, is it fair? Does this other person, did they already grow up with $5,000 that they could just tap into? Do they have a trust fund? Yeah. But everything that they have, think about this. What is the saying? Hard times create strong men, right? So, and my old mentor used to tell me this. When you grow up in poverty, as he did, it gives you an advantage. You're sharper. You're inspired more. You're motivated more. You have more to motivate you than just a spoiled little rich kid, right? So why not use it to our advantage? Instead of using it as a crutch, use it to your advantage. Say like, yo, this person that I'm competing with, you telling me that a poor kid, let's say that a poor kid gets an opportunity and a rich kid gets an opportunity. You're telling me that that poor kid shouldn't be more motivated to say like, hey, whoever wins this game right here, whoever wins this competition, whoever sells more of this, whoever does a better book report, whatever the competition is, you're going to get an opportunity to make more money. Why? That kid should be way more motivated than the other kid. The other kid's like, if I lose, it's all good. They should be playing for a lot more because not only do they, well, I'm not going to say they have a lot more to lose, but they have a lot more to gain. And Queez wrote, getting to the root cause instead of the surface. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's get to the actual cause of these things. Let's get to the actual cause. It's not the government. It's not the government. And if it is the government, who are we going to blame? Lyndon B. Johnson 80 years ago, 90 years ago for implementing certain welfare programs? I still blame it, but people won't get up and it's like, I blame the people. At a certain point, I don't blame Lyndon B. Johnson. I blame all the people that continue to vote for for the things that he instilled 80, 90 years ago, understanding now the intent that he had for it, but you're still voting for these same programs, still voting for the same party. You said it before, Uncle Brother, you're a lifelong Democrat, which is why you're so excited, hopefully, that the Democratic Party was broken. There's a reason why you can't stand the Democrats. And in my opinion, the reason is why a lot of us can't stand the Democrats is because we banked on the Democrats, listening them for far too long, them tell us that the only way we can be successful is to vote for them and that the world's unfair, America's unfair, you'll never get ahead if you're black in America. Yo, that's BS, bro. We fell for that. So I have to put that on us. That's why I get so pissed off or just so I'm just confused as to why the older generation, they just don't seem to get it. It hasn't worked in your entire generation of voting for Democrats, and yet you continue to do the same thing. and then what did I say? So do we really want to do better? What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? So it goes back to these examples. Do people in poverty really want to get out of poverty? Or do they want to just feel better about being in poverty, so therefore they can just rest on the fact that, oh, well, the world was unfair to me, so it wasn't my fault. It's just the fact that I'm born in poverty. That's what I'm trying to get across. I don't want us to feel that it doesn't matter whether, I've said this plenty of times, Trump wins, Kamala wins. It's not going to stop anything that I got going on. From a cultural standpoint, I'm very happy that Donald Trump won because I think from a cultural standpoint, Kamala Harris was just bugging. So even though if Kamala Harris won, it would make my day or make life for me maybe a little bit more difficult in certain areas, I would never, ever, ever, ever blame Kamala Harris for me not being successful. The same way that I will never blame a Donald Trump for me not being successful. And I may not have thought that way 10, 15 years ago, because I was still caught up on that Democratic plantation of doing the same thing for the Democrats, which is why Joe Biden had the energy that he had with Charlemagne. You ain't black unless you vote for me. Shame on us for putting an emphasis in the government anyway. Asians are super successful in America, more successful than any other demographic of people. And I believe their voter turnout is I believe it was less than most people, than other demographics. How? So, all right, let me, they can get the hell out of my way. That's what they could do. All right. Fear of trying different views. I get it. So Uncle Brother said, I'm saying these kids are motivated. That's why they're out trying to hustle up some dough, cleaning windows. Some use their earnings to buy a cooler, ice, and a case of water in order to step it up. So where are the adults in this community? That's what I'm saying. If you got some young motivated kids, the shortcoming is on the adults in that neighborhood. It's just like if you have a motivated child, just like if you have a kid on a team, they're motivated for success. Why aren't they becoming successful? If you have a kid that's willing to give the things necessary in order to be successful, then clearly they've just been relying on bad leadership. They've been misguided. And I'm saying that part of them being misguided is their parents' generation teaching them that they can't be successful or get ahead because of white supremacy, because of this, or because the Republicans are racist, or because America's just racist for black people. Their parents are teaching them that. So now their parents aren't even able to give these motivated, inspired young kids an opportunity in order to grow from it because the parents ain't reading no books. Yeah, I said ain't. The parents in their minds, they think that those kids can't get ahead, which is why, and this happens in a lot of households, I believe, where the kid wants to go above and beyond, feels that they need to, you know what happens? This is what happens in a household. Y'all tell me if I'm lying. I may feel like, and I got into this issue with my mentor, a previous mentor of mine. His definition of success was here, and he thought that I should be happy with that. I'm aiming here and here and here. And what that did was that offends certain people. Now, if you're right here because you're offended because let's say that you're a parent and your kid is here. I understand that there's an issue, especially this is big when it comes to father and sons. It just is what it is. These dynamics are real. When you have a father that maybe just made it, that not just made it here, but a father made it here, set the bar here. That kid wants to get here. That father may feel that they don't really know how to teach that kid to get here. So therefore, all the feedback that they're giving that kid, that feedback in real world experience can only take them to here, right? As far as what they know. Now they can suggest other things based on things that they've seen in other people, but their personal experience can only take them there. And what it does is it creates a tough dynamic, not only in the kid, because the kid may not value the fact that the dad got here, because the dad may have started here and then set the bar here. So it's on the kid and the dad, in my opinion. So the dad may have started here and gone here. The kid may be starting right here and feel like, nah, I want to get here. So those dynamics play a huge role, in my opinion. And what it does is it holds us back in a lot of areas. And I see this in the Black community where I've had different people in my family, different people in the community. It's like they only want you to reach the success that they've had. They don't want to open the door for you to be way more successful to them, way more successful than them. They just want to keep it, you could be at the same level. This is how I got to where I got to. When your mindset is like, hey, dad, ma, I respect y'all getting to here. But to be totally honest, that would be like a failure for me. I want to get to here. Now, parents should embrace that. Parents should say, I can understand. Matter of fact, it's a pat on the back for the parents, because think about it. You've inspired and motivated your kid enough, and what they've seen in you is enough for them to think that they can go above and beyond. But a lot of times we're not able to remove that ego in those situations. That's just my opinion. So, Uncle Brother, you saying that these young kids are motivated. Okay, where's the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-olds? That's who we're talking to right now. They have this victim mindset. They have this victim mindset that does not allow them to create an opportunity for the kids. And this is something that I've been going through, and this may be a little bit of a tangent. I realized that my success is not being able to give people money. My success will come as, hey, I'm able to raise enough money to create a business where I'm able to hire people in order to, or partner with people, however you want to call it, in order for us to work together to become successful. That's the real plug. It's not just giving people handouts, giving people money. That's just my opinion. So I look at it a little bit differently. So if I was those parents that have those motivated kids, why are we not allowed to give them opportunities? Are we going to just always say, oh, from slavery? So now those kids grow up, they don't have the opportunities. Now they continue to cycle. Maybe if they took less of an emphasis on what the government's supposed to provide and really had the mindset of, oh, I can accomplish anything in this world. I'm talking about the parents to these kids. Then maybe they would also believe that their kids can do that as well. But we let, in my opinion, a lot of the older generation allows our own limitations in how we see ourselves. We place those limitations on our kids. And we don't grow up in a world where other demographics may say it's my duty to not just provide my kid an education or to send my kid to the best school so they can hopefully get a job. No, a lot of people look at it a different way, where my job right now is to, when I have a kid and he becomes a certain age, is to provide that kid an opportunity to work for something that he owns, to work, just to have, he may choose to do something else. Or at least I'm going to have a certain bag of money hopefully, or certain relationships that I can put that, oh, you're interested in that? All right, let's put a little money behind it. So you don't automatically have to jump out and work for somebody. It's just different perspectives. In my opinion, perspectives control the world. Uncle Brother wrote, unfortunately, most impoverished communities don't have laptops or parents like yours waiting at home that are capable of teaching them how to teach themselves. Uncle Brother, stop with all the victim stuff. My dad didn't have it. My dad grew up poor in the South Bronx, Uncle Brother. Come on. Come on. They don't have laptops or parents. At what point are we... So let me ask you this, Uncle Brother. If they don't have laptops or parents, are we supposed to rely on the government to give us the laptops and to give us parents? Because isn't that what the Democratic Party did? Isn't that what Lyndon B. Johnson did? Oh, you don't need a father. We'll be your father. When the crime bill took all the fathers out the household, the social programs, the government became the father, right? What's the answer here? What's the answer here? In prison and brothels. Uncle Brother said the problems created by the Democratic plantation aren't going to just go away because the Democrats are gone. The adults in the neighborhood are casualties of generations of terrible Democratic policy. I agree. So if the adults are products of terrible Democrat policy, then with all due respect, older generation, get out the way. Just remove yourself. Because the younger generation, we don't see it that way. I'm not a casualty. I will never be a casualty of generations of a terrible Democratic Party. So if the older generation is a casualty, or if y'all are casualties of terrible Democratic policy, then with all due respect, please remove yourself from leadership and allow some of us young folks who don't see the world like that to lead. What other answer do we have? I'm not trying to hurt feelings, but I'm just trying to work towards solutions. If the current leadership is tarnished and is a victim of generations of terrible Democratic policy, then imagine how that's controlled your perspective and your outlook on life. So therefore, maybe we should bring some new leadership in that does not have that tarnished outlook on life, that has not fallen victim to the Democratic Party and this oppressive mindset of victimhood that they've been pushing to us for a very long time. That's my question. Honest wrote, reinforced values through facts is what is normally missing. Beliefs become reality and falsehoods grow a victim mentality. I agree. I would much prefer to see my hard-earned tax dollars being spent on giving impoverished kids laptops than being sent over to Israel to colonize Gaza. I agree with you. Okay, let's say I agree with you. Uncle Brother, I'm going to break down the difference. Okay, you would much rather your hard-earned tax dollars being spent on giving impoverished kids laptops than being sent over to Israel to colonize Gaza. Okay. Given that we're in a world where right now our tax dollars are being sent over to Israel, what are you going to do? Are you willing to give your non-tax dollars? Are you willing to give some of just the money that you made in order to provide some of these kids laptops? Are you willing to take your income? Forget the taxes that you pay. Are you willing to come out of your money and donate to have some of these kids have laptops? That's the mentality that I have. Okay, the government's going to do what they do. I'm not banking on the government providing laptops to kids in the hood. If I care about kids in the hood, if that's my purpose, if that's what I'm locked in on working on, then I do not care about what the government's going to provide. I care about the fact that they don't currently have them. And I'm working to figure out how to raise money or figuring out how to get a laptop donation, I don't know, to those kids so that they can have it. I'm putting the onus and responsibility on us, not our government. But it's a different way of looking at things. Of course, we would all prefer maybe our tax dollars being spent in different ways. But given that they're not, do we just sit back and say, oh, well, it is what it is now? Or do we say, matter of fact, I'm going to take money out of my pocket and my income to give to that. And to do so, I may say, you know what? I have to figure out a way to make more money because I can't rely on the government. So if I can't rely on the government providing my tax dollars to this cause, then I'm going to have to make more money myself so I can provide to the cause without their input. But not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to put their money where their mouth is. We can easily tell the government what they should be spending money on, but what are we spending our money on? Our dollar doesn't circulate in our own community. So what is that the government's fault? Or is that on us? Every dollar we spend is powerful. It's a choice that we're making to support whatever group that we're purchasing their product from. That is a choice. Now, a lot of people will say, well, there's not a lot of black businesses to buy from. There's not a lot of black gas stations to go to. The black banks are not operating at a high level. The black grocery stores are not. Sounds like an opportunity. You want to blame the government? Or do you want to start a black grocery store? Do you want to start another black bank? Do you want to go work for that black bank and figure out how we can make them more efficient? What are we? I'm just not banking on no government. Anthony's wrote, I'll catch the playback, bro. I'm about to let it play. I'm about to go in Walmart. I'll see y'all Wednesday, fam. Yeah, we're getting ready to jump off of here. But appreciate you, Anthony's. Honest, who you surround yourself with matters. What you believe is your success. What you believe is your success matters. Confidence and genuine interest in self-improvement is what also helps. 100%. 100%. I'm saying that if we truly believe that we're living in a racist society, why are we not adapting to the fact that we live in a racist society? We truly believe that America's racist. Well, our answer for the last 100 years is to vote for the Democrats. We don't move as if we really believe that America is racist. Jewish people, they move as if the world is coming after them. I'm just being totally honest. Black people in America, we move like we're comfortable where we're at. I'm just saying. So Uncle Brother wrote, I do take money out of my pocket for those kids to get laptops, good schools with well-educated teachers too, but my tax dollars get laundered through Ukraine and wind up in the pockets of the MIC. So who cares about the money that's left in the military industrial complex? That's over there. So if you so on one hand, you're saying that you do take money out of your pocket, so the kids do have laptops. 5 minutes ago, you said the kids don't have laptops. Now you're saying that they do have laptops because you took money out of your pocket. So why can't all of us take money out of our pocket if that's a cause that we truly care about? Problem solved. You just showed us the blueprint in solving the problem that you brought up the question to. You said that you got little kids in Baltimore that you drive by. They're motivated, they're inspired, but they're coming to you with the squeegees. Okay, what's the answer to that? The government won't. You said that the problem is they don't have laptops. They don't have good parents. Okay, boom. What's the answer? You're providing laptops. You're providing a mentorship to them. Let's get more and more people to do so. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't care about the government being it. I don't expect the government to do anything for me. I'm almost like, just stay out the way. Like, I don't got to do anything. Like, just stay out the way. That's just my thought on it. Uncompetitive wrote, Uncle Brother, give Trump until the end of the week to end the war in Ukraine. He has a lot on his plate. I think it's just different mentalities. And I think what it all comes down to is, what are we willing to do? Who wasn't that JFK asked not what your country can do for you, but ask what you could do for your country? I don't even know who that was. I forget who said it. But let's imagine if we all played a game. For every complaint that we have against the government and blaming them for why our communities may be impoverished or why we don't have certain access and opportunities, let's play a game where every time we focus on the things that they're not doing, we spin that around to us and say, what are we doing? Because that's what we preach on this show, accountability, right? Accountability, regardless of who else is in, what we can do ourselves to move towards success. Not playing the blame game. Not saying that you are, Uncle Brother. I know that you're not. But I'm just saying, as far as the things that are being pushed, when we start blaming the government or start talking about what our tax dollars aren't going to, it is what it is. What do we have that we can control? Do you know how many Jewish people live in Montclair, New Jersey, where I grew up in? Great school. Access, they pay a whole lot of money in taxes in Montclair, New Jersey. Look up the taxes that people pay in Montclair, New Jersey. You know those Jewish people, a lot of them, I got an uncle and aunt next door to me. Their kids went to private school in another town our entire upbringing. So I'm sure that they would have loved for their tax dollars to go towards, and maybe some of it was, I don't know. I'm sure that they would prefer for their tax dollars to go to the school that they want their kids to go to. But I'm sure it didn't cover the entire school. You know what they said? It doesn't matter. We're willing to put up the bread in order to put our kids in that school to prevent them from going to the public school. Put the bread up. And if we don't have the bread to put up, then let's figure out a way how to get the bread. I'm just not into I'll tell you the problems that I have with the government spending. I have those same issues. I'll bring up those same problems that I have. I don't want my tax dollars going to Russia, Ukraine, and all these other wars, Israel and Palestine. I don't want my tax dollars going to that. The same way I'm questioning why a lot of the tax dollars are going to all these migrants that are coming in. However, I'm just not going to ever allow it to stop any success or any, as I strive down my purpose, I'm not going to allow that to formulate as an excuse or a reason to why I can't accomplish the things that I'm setting out to accomplish. That's how I look at it. Uncompetitive road, Uncle Brother, gift. Yeah, all right. So we're going to wrap it up. That was JFK. All right. I thought it was JFK. I wasn't sure. The economy should improve under Trump. Some of that will be needed to pay off debts. After that, we can improve our society. All right. Trump said he had plans to fix the homeless problem. Let's see. All right. Y'all know what we do at the end of every show. If you're new, then you may not know, but we finish off every show with 45 seconds to just be still, do whatever it is that you need to do, clear your mind, manifest, get your breath working, whatever it is that you need to do. And since today is Monday, y'all know what we set out every Sunday and Monday to do to make this our greatest week ever. So take this next 45 seconds to do whatever it is that you need to do, to where by the time we get off this show, we have the right mindset to go about completing that task of making this our greatest week ever. All right. So 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. We're going to begin now. All right, one more deep breath. Inhaling all the positive energy, exhaling all the BS. All right, y'all know what it is. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we come here to do, elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, as well as challenging us to raise our standards, challenging us to become the leaders our community needs now more than ever. Let's get to that bag. Figure out on a Monday, what are the things that you need to put in your bag, which you collect along the way in order to make this the greatest week that we've had ever. All right, what's in my bag that I'm focusing on? Peace, love, happiness, and of course, health, wealth, and everything we do. Integrity. Uncle Brother sent the gang, y'all know. And tap in. Once again, we got to finish this show. Process everything that everybody says. And I just want to use myself as an example. It may appear that I'm not aligned with Uncle Brother's vision. Even after this show, I'm going to take heed to the things that Uncle Brother mentioned. Take heed to some of the things that Uncle Brother has mentioned on this show and before this show, because I value his mind, his mental, his spirit, his mentality. I value all these things and learn a lot from him. So therefore, even though I may not be totally in agreement with everything, still we have to process those things. I can come back on Wednesday and say, you know what? I actually think a little bit differently about this. I'm glad that Uncle Brother, challenged me in this way, because it helped me grow in an area that I was a blind spot to me. This is what we have these communications for. This is what we have this page for. So I'm just super thankful for all of y'all. Love y'all. Trump's in office. It doesn't even matter who's in office. We're going to win regardless. We're going to win regardless. But I definitely want to just make that clear when it comes to Uncle Brother, because I do appreciate you, big bro. And even though there may be generational difference, we got to get back to seeing our elders. And I'm not even saying our elders. When I say big bro, I use that term big bro a lot. We got to get back to just respecting the experiences of our elders. And that's going to allow us to give grace, even in areas that we may disagree in. It's going to allow us to give grace because we don't know everything. So we got to value other people's experience. We got to be open. And yeah, we got to just come together, figure out a way to make it happen. Quee sent the fire emojis. I'm talking too much. I shall see y'all soon. Ew, ew. Enjoy the rest of your day. We're going to win regardless.